Yo, what's up, what's up, everybody? Bitcoin is crashing once again, but what if this isn't just a normal dip? New data suggests this sell-off is simply designed to shake you out of your coins. While corporations are stacking ginormous, colossal, enormous amounts of Bitcoin, stacking tens of thousands at a time. Banks are preparing to step into the market. Of course, we know what the Trump administration is planning. The long-term models are still flashing six-figure targets. You got to ask yourself, is this crash really a sign of weakness or more proof that smart money wants your Bitcoin? I was taking a look at a data point from MetaPlanet, the largest Bitcoin treasury company in Japan, and it seems like they have been buying 10% of the Bitcoin mined for the last year. So if you have all these companies gobbling up all of the Bitcoin that's being mined, all of the Bitcoin that's freely tradable, you got to ask yourself, what's going on with this price action? And my opinion, and we're going to play you a clip from Jack Mallers as well, is that they're trying to shake you out of your position. They're trying to get your Bitcoin. Smart money wants your Bitcoin. But the good news is this: I ain't selling. I'm not taking my Bitcoin out of cold storage. Opti, are you selling?
I have no coin to sell.
Opti has no coin to sell. So you gotta stay humble. You gotta stack sats. You gotta keep your Bitcoin in cold storage, and eventually, like a balloon ball, like a beach ball that you put under the water, it eventually explodes. And the longer you hold it under the water, the more ferocious that explosion tends to go up. And I think we're heading into Q4, which historically tends to be the best performing quarter for Bitcoin. So guys, buckle up. It's going to be an incredible show. We're happy to be back. It's the Monday show. It's the good show. Anyways, everybody, let's check out this clip from the one, the only Jack Mallers.
Markets will either wear you out or scare you out, okay? Wear you out, meaning what it's doing now. Exhaust you. Tempt you with meme coins, with Trump coin. Make you go up, then down, then up, then down, then up, then down. You're like, man, I thought this Jack guy said we were going to the moon.
We have a liftoff.
I thought Bitcoin was going to fix the money, fix the world. I thought holding sats and staying humble was going to solve all my problems. And it's going to exhaust you. It's going to wear you out and wear you down. Or it's going to scare you out. Sometimes this market will just take the seat right from under you. You ever been on those giant drop rides where they bring you up and then just whoosh, and they just drop you down? You feel that gut-wrenching fear in your stomach? That's what markets will do as well. Bitcoin will trade 25% down in one day and it'll scare you out. You'll be like, oh, screw it, I'm out of this market.
I don't fucking understand Bitcoin at all.
I don't trust these Bitcoin influencers. I don't trust the Bitcoin Standard, Safanina Moose.
These fucking guys are fucking cuckoo.
And so wear you out or scare you out, and that's where we are. We're being worn out right now. I wouldn't be surprised if this market tried to scare you out as well. Is a drop to 80K impossible? No, not at all. I preach patience. I preach conviction. I'm an advocate of the trend. I'm an advocate of the fundamentals. I'm the advocate of math, of cryptography. Trading this market, no bueno. You will get scared out. You will get worn out. And I'm telling you, I've been telling you since Thanksgiving, there's going to be a lot of volatility in the near term. This market's not going to run away yet. It's also not going to zero. We know that. It's going to chop and chop and chop and chop and chop. So another week goes by. I've got relatively the same update. Stay focused. Work hard. Earn more than you spend. Stack sats. Stay humble.
So beautiful edit put together by Jack Mallers, and just saying the quiet part out loud. I think that this market specifically this year, right? You have Bitcoin going up 25% year to date. And if you compare that with any other type of return, can you put up my volume, please? If you put Bitcoin's yearly return with any other asset, Bitcoin has performed amazingly. 25% year-to-date return is fantastic. If you get that in the stock market, you think you're a genius. You think you've had an amazing return. However, it feels a little bit pedestrian, coming from the Bitcoin world, right? Where we're used to multiple hundreds of percent yearly return in Bitcoin. And just take a look at last year. I mean, I think it was like 80% or something like that. And if you take a look at Bitcoin's historical performance, in the year after the halvings, they tend to be explosive. I mean, in 2021, we got, I think it was 600%. In 2017, I think we got a 2,000% return. We started the year at $1,000 US. We ended up with 20,000 at the end of the year. So yes, I think everybody, is a little bit shaky. Everybody's feeling a little bit of the pain, and everyone's asking, like, why is the price going down? We were at 117,000. I don't know what happened over the weekend, and now we're at $112,800. It makes absolutely no sense. I don't understand. And I think Jack Mallers summarized it perfectly. This is smart money trying to shake you out. They're trying to exhaust you. They're trying to get you out of your bags. They're trying to say, hey, listen, Bitcoin's done. Bitcoin's over. You got to go chase those meme coins now. If you want some of those gains, you got to go chase some of those altcoins. You got to go chase some of that gambling if you want some of those returns. And all us Bitcoiners are saying is like, listen, this is from a risk-adjusted return, vantage point and perspective, this is the most sure thing that, and again, this is an opinion, not financial advice. This is the most sure thing that I think, you can, this is the most sure thing opportunity that I see. I mean, you have the Trump administration basically saying we're ending Operation Choke Point 2.0. We're embracing it. They want to make the United States of America the Bitcoin capital of the world. They're posting from the official White House X account. You have the Vice President of the United States speaking at the largest Bitcoin conference in the world, Bitcoin 2025. You have MicroStrategy outperforming every other company on the on the NASDAQ, on the S&P 500. I mean, you couldn't ask for more bullish news. You couldn't ask for more confirmation signals about what's to come in the next 2 to 4 years. I think right now it's just a waiting game. I've posted this many times. A lot of people have resonated with it. I said, listen, we already won. It's a waiting game at this point. But people are feeling the frustration. And I got to say, I think that there is some shenanigans that are happening, but not shenanigans in terms of doing anything shady or anything like that. But I think that smart money is trying to squeeze you out of your bags. I think that's what's happening. I think it's as simple as that. I think that they're trying to exhaust you. I actually posted a tweet. I'm going to see if I could pull it up for you guys a couple days ago. And it's basically like how Bitcoin has felt in the year 2025. Opti laughed at it when I posted it, but this is how Bitcoin has felt in 2025. We started the year extremely optimistic. We had, the election of Donald Trump, the end of Operation Choke Point 2.0, the promise of a strategic Bitcoin reserve. We had all of that lined up. And, me and Opti, we were on cloud nine. We were celebrating. We had 1,000 people watching live just on YouTube alone. And, our channel was much smaller back then. And we were celebrating. We were euphoric a little bit. And, here we are 9 months later, and the price is literally $3,000 higher than when it was back then, right? That is not a bull market, my friends. Like, that is not a bull market. Bitcoin has been consolidating for the last 9 months. But the good news is that we have Q4 ahead of us, and Q4 historically tends to be the most parabolic, the most explosive quarter in Bitcoin's history. Now, will Bitcoin break that pattern? That has yet to be determined. We shall see. will Bitcoin enter kind of like this new phase? People are speculating that Bitcoin has broken the 4-year cycle because of this institutional demand in Bitcoin. And because of the smart money buyers, you'll no longer have this crazy volatility to the upside nor the downside. Again, these are all theories. We don't know, but we're going to find out very soon. We're going to find out in the next 3 months if Bitcoin, again, it's still following the 4-year cycle, or we are truly in uncharted territory. One thing is for sure, though, number will go up at the end of the day. It's infinity divided by 21 million. But I think a lot of other people are feeling the doubt, are feeling the uncertainty. I have some posts by Whale Panda, and he had some things to say. But I think if you guys want to get the TLDR from this intro, from this hook, it's this. Listen to Jack Mallers. Listen to that wisdom. Don't get shaken out. They're trying to exhaust you. They're trying to bore you to death. They're trying to get you out of your bags. That's what they're trying to do. That is what's happening right now. You have smart money. You have institutional money. There's not enough Bitcoin to go around. So they're trying to get your Bitcoin. Do not give it to them. Do not give it to them. Stay humble, stack sats, stay solvent, go outside, touch some grass. And, you know, at the end of the day, I think you'll turn out just all right. All right, everybody. So let's take a look at some of Whale Panda's posts. I'm going to start off with this one. This last week, we had $890 million of net inflows from ETFs, and Sailor bought more. Bitcoin is flat on the weekly with a rate cut, and all other assets, stock indexes, gold, etc., closing a very green week. Almost seems like there are more than 21 million BTC in circulation, alluding to that paper Bitcoin. Now, next post by Bitcoin Archive. And he says the largest Bitcoin and crypto liquidation of the year just happened. And of course, that was over the weekend. Here's a comment from Hi-Fi. Everyone long the rate cut, but front runners front the front runners. Reflexive euphoria met reflexive execution. You saw it coming if you understood how positioning works. Leverage bloated off narrative. Market makers fed the hope. Liquidity thinned at the strike. Then came the harvest liquidation. Isn't news, it's consequence. Bitcoin didn't flinch because it wasn't longing the Fed. So anyways, also British HODL, he has some fantastic analysis. He's been making the case that, listen, look, at the end of the day, you know, a 25 basis points cut wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to really get this bull market started. We needed something significantly more. And, you know, I got to agree with President Trump. This is what British HODL was saying as well. Too late, Powell. I think Powell was too late. We got the news that the job markets wasn't as strong as they were portrayed to us. It seems like the previous administration was saying that the employment rate was a lot higher, that a lot of jobs were being created. It seems like there was a massive correction. And again, the Fed is not reacting to that. In my opinion, I think the Fed's acting extremely politically. I've been saying that all year. I'm not the only one saying that. You have Senator Cynthia Lummis, the Bitcoin senator. You have Caitlin Long, the CEO and founder of the world's first Bitcoin bank in coming out of Wyoming, Custodia Bank, and she's making the case as well. I don't think the Fed is acting as this independent, bipartisan institution. I think it's acting extremely partisan. I think it's acting extremely politically, right? So anyways, you know, Bitcoin is kind of going up again. It's going up the stream. That's really what it's doing. But at the end of the day, to circle it back around, to weave it back in, we got to focus on what Jack Mallers was saying. I think at the end of the day, fundamentally, they're trying to bore you to death. They're trying to shake you out. That's what it's come down to. But the good news is that we're heading into Q4, and Q4 tends to be where the fireworks happen. And when the fireworks happen is, you know, when you tend to see these parabolic movements. I was actually talking to who Opti calls the demons yesterday. I was talking to ChatGPT, and I was like, look, ChatGPT, like, what's going on? Like, why are we seeing, like, is the Bitcoin cycle over? What's, and you, of course, you put in all this data, you put in all this information, and ChatGPT is like, no, it's not over. It thinks Bitcoin's going to reach 175 to 200K by the end of the year. And I said, are you sure about that? He said, of course. If Bitcoin follows its historical patterns, that's where it should end up. And I'm like, what about on the bullish side? On the bullish side, it said 275 to 300K. I said, are you sure? We're 3 months away till the end of the year, and you're telling me these crazy price predictions, AI. Like, what are you talking about? And it said, listen, if you look at the historical patterns, 175K to 200K Bitcoin doesn't seem that crazy. And at the end of the day, if Bitcoin does make this recovery, then it lines up with all the previous other cycles. Then it doesn't seem like Bitcoin underperformed in 2025. It actually seems like Bitcoin performed just like every other cycle has performed in the past, while taking into account the diminishing returns. Of course, it's a lot harder for Bitcoin to 2x at a $2 trillion market cap than it was for Bitcoin to 2x at a $100 billion market cap, right? And I think that's a reality that we all have to take into account. So anyways, to summarize it all up and to weave it back in and pass it on to Opti, I think they're just trying to shake everybody out. I think they're trying to get everyone's corn. I think that's what it comes down to. I'm going to pull up this picture because, again, it's extremely fitting. This is, I think, what a lot of people are feeling. At least Whale Panda is feeling this way. This is 2025. If you were to summarize it as a Bitcoiner, in terms of the chop solidation, in terms of it going sideways. But I think Q4 can be very explosive. But at the end of the day, we shall see. We're heading into potentially uncharted territory. I don't know, man. I don't know. People in the chat are saying, hey, look, it's just a 2% crash. It's just a 3% crash. Yeah, but you have to understand, guys, like, I remember back in the day when Bitcoin was, just $4,000 per coin. Right now it's making $4,000 moves, and people are saying, hey, dude, it's just a 3% crash. What are you talking about? Like, what's going on, man? Anyways, Opti, is this a September crash that everybody was talking about? What's your take?
Well, obviously, if we're looking at the September returns, we're probably just right on course right now. It was feeling good last week. We were kind of around the 8%, 7.5%, 8%. So we were feeling really good about what's going on. And I'm not gonna lie, this morning when I woke up and I saw the price, I got the new iOS update, so I have it like on my home screen, and I look at my phone to get to my messages, and I see at 112, I'm like, oh man, Ponzi's over. Like, we're broke again today. This sucks. What a way to start the week. And then I actually look at the chart, and like everyone in the chat saying it was like a 2 and almost 3% drop. And it's funny because it does feel like a crash, but again, it moved 3%, and you're just like, whatever. It didn't do anything. But like Nico said, in the past, Bitcoin was 4 to 10K, and now it's moving in those directions, which really leans to this idea that we've been saying for a while, that as it grows bigger, it's going to oscillate by all-time high numbers. So 10, 20K, 5K now is like the norm. So even though the percentage terms are really small, I think the fluctuations do feel bigger, like just because the numbers are bigger. But in reality, it's not that big of a crash. It does feel a little demoralizing. And I think that's why it was so perfect to play Jack this morning, because that's exactly what I think is going on. Because I'm starting to feel it. Like, I literally been joking the last week, like, Ponzi's over, guys, wrap it up. It was a good run. We're going back to 58K. We're going back down to 0. This is literally me. This is me right now. I didn't drink enough coffee. I've drank like 6 cups of coffee, and I'm still not feeling good. But when you look at the chart, it's really not moving. And I think what is actually going on is exactly what Nico's saying. I think this is just being demoralized. They're trying to shake us out of the coins. And when you kind of understand how the markets move, it always does something similar where they liquidate the longs and then they liquidate the shorts. And that's usually the pretense for things to start moving up again. And so, first of all, we're starting to see that. We're starting to liquidate all of the leverage. And then that's usually when things start ripping. And it feels like we are about to, like, I've been saying for a while, and I obviously have been wrong because I keep thinking that like now is the time that we go, but we just haven't started moving yet. But it will start moving. And yeah, pull up this. Soon, this will be me soon.
So this was the beginning of the year with all the enthusiasm, all the hype. You know, American HODL was saying, give me this 2017 vibes. I was like basically posting pictures of Trump saying 500K 2025, right? Everyone was so excited, you know, January of this year, right? And you know, they don't call it the trenches for no reason, right? They don't call it the Bitcoin roller coaster for no reason. And again, it reminds me of this movie All Quiet on the Western Front. They've made so many remakes already, but the latest one on Netflix, fantastic movie. And it's just this very enthusiastic, young German soldier, very excited to sign up for the war. And he gets, he basically gets, entangled. He gets caught up in the hype, right? Of what the expectation, I think, is the key word. And then after a couple years of being in the trenches, you end up with this, the 1,000-yard stare, right? And I think that this 2025 is a great summary. I mean, a great indication of this, a great example of this, right? Of just this consolidation. All these hopes and dreams that we had in the beginning of the year, and then fundamentally we're up $3,000. We're up $3,000.
Dude, it's so over.
We're up $3,000 9 months later, right? And
this sucks.
That creates this, right? Which is me and Opti excited and celebrating to this. But I think that's why that Jack Mahler's clip was so powerful, because it's basically explaining, like, look, guys, like, they're trying to shake you out. They're trying to exhaust you. They're trying to force you to take a look at alternatives, take a look at altcoins, take a look at more speculative bets, so to speak, that have no fundamentals. And they're trying to shake you out of your Bitcoin. That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. I think that they've been successful at it with some people. But our message here at Simply has not changed, right? Hold the line. Hold the line. Hold the line. Remember why you're here. You might feel this way. That's okay. That's fine, right? But October is right around the corner. And if October doesn't work out, that 1,000-yard stare is going to become a 10,000-yard stare.
It's over for me.
But eventually,
no. But Nico, I think look, I'm not a fan of Whale Panda. I kind of consider him a shitcoiner. And it does sound like he is very pessimistic about Bitcoin in general, which is why I call him a shitcoiner. But he does make a really good point, and I think this is why it's so demoralizing right now. And by the viewers right now, the live viewers right now, I think everyone's feeling the same thing, which is, I think, the signal that we are kind of getting pushed down, and it is wearing us out. This is usually how you feel before things start getting, really frothy. But what Well Panda pointed out, if you are looking at other traditional markets, is kind of the part where you're like, what is going on? Like, gold's hitting all-time highs today. The S&P 500 is hitting all-time highs, and Bitcoin is dumping. And you're like, what in the world is going on? I thought all the assets were going to go up together. So, guys, maybe again, I was right on my rate cuts kind of thesis here. I was just, 2-3 days late on it. But hey, I guess I'm still the macro guy here, Nico, because I fully kind of called this. Maybe I went a little too low, but this is what's going crazy. Like, the markets, other assets are going green while Bitcoin's dumping right now. And everyone's like, what is going on? This is just not making which I think is why we're all feeling the same thing, and it's got to rip.
I'm telling you, and like someone in the chat, Knox Bill. By the way, shout out to the
Asian markets.
Shout out to the chat. Over 1,000 live viewers on X, 665 live viewers on YouTube, and about 100 live viewers on Rumble. If you guys are enjoying Simply Bitcoin Live, the most watched daily Bitcoin live show on planet Earth, smash that like button. It is Monday. We got to start Monday strong, man. We gotta give the people what they want. Anyways, Knox Bill asks a very important question: who sells at 2 a.m. Monday morning? There you go. There's the answer to your question.
You could say Asian markets.
Who do you think sells at 2 a.m. on Monday morning, man? Who do you think sells at 2 a.m. on Monday morning? And to cause this much downward sell pressure, I think it's very obvious. Have very, very positive, optimistic comment. Says, we stick through this hard time together. Valhalla awaits. It seems like we got a Rustin viewer in the chat. And we got Ryan Boylan said, appreciate you guys always. Subscribe, like, and share. Let's all learn together. We got Daniel.
No, Nico. At this point, we're just emotional support for you guys. We're just here hanging out with you guys. We're like Bitcoin Anonymous at this point. We're just here. We're just here holding our hands through this.
We always been emotional support. Oh man. So anyways, Dr. Dan Howell makes a joke. Peter Schiff is selling his corn to suppress the price. Ryan Bolan says Japan's trading hours, I believe. Rob EV says China. JCZ says, who sells at 2 a.m.? Some poor dude who spent a few days agonizing and simply decided to sell. That's it. There's no conspiracy. So anyways,
the real silver lining here is you just got cheaper sat. So hopefully you have some fiat. I think this is why I feel so bad. I'm just absolutely broke. I've been buying all the dips and tops, and I'm like, it's got to go soon. Just have no more money.
Anyways, guys, it's going to be a fantastic show. It's the Monday show, guys. It's the Monday show. It's one of my favorite shows. It gets the week going. Opti and I, we
wait. Ryan goes, you sure we're not emotional support for you guys?
I think it goes both ways. I think it definitely goes both ways. It for sure goes both ways. But anyways, guys, it's the Monday show. It's one of my favorite shows of the week. It gets the week going. It kind of sets the tune for the rest of the week. And again, in the beginning of Simply Bitcoin, I always remembered on Mondays, I'd always get scared. I'd always be like, dude, like, what if no one shows up? What if no one shows up? Remember that feeling?
Yeah.
In the early days?
Yeah.
In the early days, me and Opti were doing this, and we're doing it.
Well, it was also like, what if we blow it up on Friday and no one comes on Monday?
And then, we do it for like 20 live viewers, and then we'd be like, dude, is anyone going to show up on Monday? And then people would show up. It's always the Monday show. It's always held a very special place in my heart because, again, seeing you guys show up, support us, come on this journey with us, this hodling journey. Really means the world to us. And of course, we wouldn't be here without all you guys. Guys, today is going to be a fantastic show, a fabulous show. We have tons to talk about. We have Senator Lummis, again, putting pressure in the paint, the Bitcoin senator. And again, she says that the President Trump supports her bill to buy 1 million Bitcoin for a strategic reserve, and Strive buys Bitcoin hoarder Selmer Scientific. Interesting consolidation in the Bitcoin Treasury companies. So we're gonna have an update for you guys there. It's gonna be a great show, guys. We still have tons to cover. You guys are gonna want to stay tuned. And we got Brian Armstrong, CEO of the world's largest exchange, Coinbase, basically calling for $1 million Bitcoin. Things are bad when the exchange CEOs are calling for $1 million Bitcoin. Anyways, guys, it's going to be a fantastic day. Happy to be back. And let's get the show rolling. But one more time. Guys, hold in there. You're going to go from here and you're going to get to here. very, very soon, hopefully in Q4. I don't know, not financial advice. Opti, you want to pull that up actually? Because I think that that kind of backs up
Sure,
our case.
I was just looking this behind the scenes. It's not as bad as it really looks, to be honest. 4% September. It's kind of like right in line with what we've seen in the past. But we were at like 8% last week. So it just all our gains got chopped in half in one day, which is absolutely nuts. But see, I don't remember the Q3 numbers here, but there's still some hope left in us. It's Q4 that matters. Q4 is where the fun happens. Anyways, Nico, you want to chat on this?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there's two
Here,
charts.
let me zoom in here.
There's two charts. There's the quarterly returns.
Yeah. Monthly is like, it doesn't look as bullish on the monthly, but the quarterly one is the most bullish.
The quarterly one, like, look at that. Like,
I showed Nico this on Thursday and he was like, nah, no, it doesn't. I'm like, here's the numbers.
Bro, listen, dude. Like, I have PTSD, bro. I don't know what to tell you. I'm trying to go from that to this. Okay, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to be there. So 9 days till October. Someone just dropped it in the chat. Anyways, guys, if you guys are enjoying the show so far, make sure to smash that like button. Consider subscribing if you feel like we're providing you value. Again, it's going to be
subscribe if we're providing you emotional support during these trying times of a 3% dump.
That is value. That is value. That is value. Anyways, guys, before we jump into today's show, I do want to give a very special shout out to Simply Bitcoin's lead sponsor. Simply Bitcoin would not be on air, wouldn't be possible without you guys, and it wouldn't be possible without our sponsors. I want to give a shout out to our lead sponsor, bitcoinwell.com. It is by far the best place to build your automatic self-custody Bitcoin stack. It's a publicly traded company coming out of Canada that recently expanded to all 50 U.S. states. To get started, you put in your email address. It takes 2 to 5 minutes to get signed up. Bada bing, bada boom, you're ready to buy Bitcoin. What makes Bitcoin Well special, what makes it unique, is that it's an automatic self-custody Bitcoin on-ramp. What does that mean? That means that when you buy Bitcoin on Bitcoin Well, as soon as the funds clear, it goes straight to your self-custody Bitcoin wallet address. They don't even allow you to leave your Bitcoin on the exchange. If you're a higher net worth individual looking to buy $50,000 worth of Bitcoin or more, and you want that same service, a white glove service, built specifically for family offices, high net worth individuals, trusts, organizations, and you want to buy Bitcoin directly into self-custody, and the Bitcoin Well Infinite team will walk you through the process the entire time, you have to check out Bitcoin Well Infinite. To get started, go to bitcoinwell.com/OTC today. Anyways, guys, like I said, it's going to be a fantastic show. You're going to want to stay tuned. We have tons to cover, and it's Monday, baby. Let's get straight into the show. I want to give a shout out to our partner, StampSeed. Is your Bitcoin in cold storage really secure? Are your seed phrases really secure? StampSeed's do-it-yourself kit has everything you'll need for you to hammer your seed words into commercial-grade titanium plates. Instead of just writing them down on paper, paper is fragile. Titanium plates are strong. Your words are actually stamped into the titanium plate with this hammer and these letter stamping tools. Once the words are in, they aren't going anywhere. No risk of the plate breaking apart and pieces falling everywhere. Titanium stamp seeds will survive nearly triple the heat produced by a house fire. They are also crush-proof, waterproof, non-corrosive, and time-proof. And now you can customize your titanium seed plates. You can upload your design or logo, and they will laser engrave it on the back of your seed plate, the opposite side of where the words are. Stamp your seed on StampSeed and use promo code SIMPLY to get 15% off anything on the stampseed.com store. All right, everybody, we are back at the time of recording. The Bitcoin price. Stop the show right now. Press pause. Press pause. If you're watching us live on YouTube, Rumble, or X, press pause right now on the show. Go to bitcoinwell.com right now. Smash that buy button. Smash that buy button. You want to smash that buy button. So you want to buy Bitcoin right now. It's at a nice discount. At the time of recording, the Bitcoin price is $112,360. Sats per dollar, 890. Block height, 915,914. Realized monetary inflation, 0.85%. Market cap, 2.24 trillion. Bitcoin versus gold market cap, still a long ways to go, baby, for Bitcoin to catch the market cap of gold. That's like more than a 10x. That's a 10 bagger. 10 bagger. What's a 10x times 112,000? That's more than
That's at 1.2 mil.
That's more than $1 million, bro. That's a lot. That's a lot. Bam, bing, bam, boom. Percentage issued, 94.87%. All right, everybody, I have a special clip for you guys. I have Brian Armstrong talking about $1 million Bitcoin once again on Legacy Financial Media.
There's a couple of big tailwinds now, which lead me to think that there's a good chance Bitcoin could be at $1 million per coin, by 2030 or so. And that's the relationship between interest rates and stocks. It can always be complex. Like for a long time, people thought these things were positively correlated, and now I think over time people are starting to think of Bitcoin almost like gold or something. It's something people might flee to in times of uncertainty. So it's a hybrid between those two things. But I try not to get too caught up in the short-term trends. What I try to do is look at the long-term trends, and there's a couple of big tailwinds now, which lead me to think that there's a good chance Bitcoin could be at $1 million per coin, by 2030 or so, and that's. Partly, it's the regulatory clarity that's emerging. I mentioned the Genius Act, and now with market structure legislation, hopefully getting close, that could be a major moment. We also saw the United States of America now has a strategic Bitcoin reserve. So if the United States government is going to begin holding Bitcoin, I think that's going to be a massive driver of demand, and the rest of the G20 countries will probably follow suit. And then the last thing I'd say is that we saw recently the launch of the Bitcoin ETFs, by a number of different firms, and Coinbase is actually powering 80% of the custody for those that are out there. But we're seeing a ton of institutional money continue to flow into Bitcoin now that these ETFs are live. So there's a lot of positive tailwinds for Bitcoin, and I think that there's never going to be more than 21 million Bitcoin ever made in the world, and lots of pools of capital still haven't gotten access to it. So that tells me this thing has a long way to run.
So I want to focus on a specific part where he was talking about how the United States is looking at a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Well, let's take a look at the detail. Let's take a look at some of the latest updates regarding that strategic Bitcoin reserve. Here is Senator Cynthia Lummis on the Senate floor, and she said something very interesting. Let's take a look.
I'm particularly pleased with President Trump's support of my strategic Bitcoin reserve initiative, which will address our national debt while securing America's position as the global leader in financial innovation. As Bitcoin comes into more usage, its use makes the whole system more secure, more robust, and more capable of serving our needs all over the world. We should be the global leader with this fantastic new ledger-based asset that is in a digital format that is going to be transformative of everyday economy and puts the everyday American, in fact, the everyday worker all over the world in control of their own money. What a wonderful blessing for hardworking people all over the world to have this great new technology and to have America lead the way in implementing this wonderful, wonderful innovation.
Boom. You have the Bitcoin senator saying the quiet part out loud. I want you guys to focus on the very beginning part of that video where she says the executive branch, the Trump administration, specifically President Donald J. Trump, backing the Bitcoin bill, saying, listen, I want the United States of America to own 1 million Bitcoin, and the way he does things with his hand gestures and stuff, that's absolutely massive. Like, think about how far we've come from a year ago where Opti and I were seriously considering moving to El Salvador because of the hostile regulatory environment. Members of our industry were getting arrested left and right. Arthur Hayes, CZ. Right. And you can say they were political arrests. You could say that Signature Bank was specifically targeted and taken out on purpose because it was doing business with the Bitcoin and crypto industry, right? A whole lot has changed. Elections have consequences as we are heading into the midterms next year, November of 2026. Simply Bitcoin will be covering that, and we will be specifically highlighting who are the pro Bitcoin candidates and who are the pro CBDC candidates. And again, it's Bitcoin over party. We're going to be highlighting that. We're going to be paying very, very close attention because, as you can see, elections have consequences. Elections have consequences specifically at where we are in the movie during the transition. During this transitionary period, I truly believe we are living through the separation of money and state. But during this transitionary period, fiat elections still have consequences. So it's important that you back pro-Bitcoin, anti-CBDC candidates. Anyways, Opti, I'm going to pass it on to you. Someone was calling Brian Armstrong Lex Luthor. What do you think?
Well, they were saying worse things, but
what do you think about this $1 million prediction? And again, Senator Lummis is backing up his claim that the administration does have the intent. I don't know if they have the political capital, but they do have the intention of wanting to acquire more Bitcoin. Opti.
yeah, I mean, look, I also believe Bitcoin's going to $1 million around 2030. I totally think that is what's going to happen. I think the more interesting stuff is that we're hearing more people say this on the national news. It's like, it's the normal thing to be saying. This has been normalized now. And when you say that, people aren't thinking you're a crazy person. They're like, yeah, actually, it makes perfect sense. You know, as Brian Armstrong was saying, all the different factors that are kind of leading towards that direction are becoming very obvious that this isn't going to zero. Like this is, as Saylor always says, you know, this is either going to be worth a lot of money, it's going to be worth nothing. And I think Bitcoiners have been saying this forever. And now it's becoming very, very obvious to most people, even if they just have a very rudimentary understanding of what Bitcoin is that this thing's going to be worth a lot. Now, do we agree on timelines? Do we agree on what the price is going to be in 5-10 years? No one really does. And no one has any clue of what it's going to do. But in the face of everything going on, it's becoming more of the norm to believe it's going to these crazy numbers. And so, yeah, I think it's like a very safe bet, to be honest. The other thing on the US actually stacking some coin, I think a lot of Bitcoiners, including myself, don't fully understand how politics works, and they don't understand how slowly politics actually works. And so the lag from the announcement of the strategic Bitcoin reserve to now, we're like, man, how could you guys stack some already? I'm sick and tired of hearing this every single other day that this is going to happen. And it does seem like a lot of rhetoric going on. Let's go 440K in November, of course. But you need to remember, the machine moves very slowly. And if this isn't just a lot of fluff, rhetoric here, and it's actually directionally correct, I think it's a very good sign. And I know there's a lot of rumors of some big announcement coming tomorrow. I don't think it's about the strategic Bitcoin reserve, but I think what we are seeing from Senator Lummis, and we've heard Donald Trump, or at least Donald Trump, be quoted as saying he's backing the Bitcoin Act. We've heard a lot of politicians say that this is a priority here. I think at this point they have to follow through on this. If for them to do that big of a rug pull where they're telling the whole world, oh, we're going to stack, and then we don't stack, I think that's probably more of a politically bad thing.
I just don't think they have the votes. I think
that could be it.
I think that's what it comes down to.
That could be it. Now, I think the more interesting part of that clip to me, Nico, and we looked at each other off screen, was when Brian Armstrong was like, yeah, the Bitcoin ETFs that we hold 80% of the custody of. And you're just like,
that was bad.
Oh, man. I know this clip was supposed to be bullish, but yeah, that doesn't make me feel that good, to be honest. It's 80% held under Coinbase. You're like, yeah, there's still a lot of work to be done here.
That was bad, man. That was, you want individuals taking Bitcoin into self-custody And that's how we win. That's how we win. You want individuals reclaiming back their financial sovereignty by taking Bitcoin into self custody. Anyways, guys, it's going to be a fantastic show. We still have a lot to cover. Big breaking news happened this morning. I believe the article broke. Strive buys Selmer Scientific. This is one of the largest Bitcoin treasury companies. So it seems like there's a bit of a consolidation phase, which I find quite interesting. And we're going to be talking about just that. So you guys are going to want to stay tuned. Tons to cover, and we're going to be right back in just a bit. Let's check out the news section, ladies and gentlemen.
I want to give a shout out to our partner, Ledin, the leader in Bitcoin-backed loans. Unlock the liquidity in your Bitcoin without having to sell your Bitcoin. They've issued $9 billion in loans to over 10,000 customers since 2018. I absolutely love these guys. Not only do I have an account with them, but I also have a loan. And what I love about them is that there are no monthly payments, and you could pay back the loan at any time. As soon as you send your Bitcoin as collateral, you'll have cash in your account within 24 hours. Over 1,000 five-star customer reviews, and they've never lost a single dollar or sat of customer money. Go to learn.ledin.io/simply today, and you'll get 0.25% off your first loan. I want to give a shout out to our partner, sat123.com. Sovereignty isn't just about your money. It's about your communications too. When the grid goes down, most people go dark. Cell towers fail in hurricanes, cyber attacks, and blackouts. But satellite phones, they don't rely on local infrastructure. Iridium has 77 satellites in orbit, giving you a direct line anywhere in the US, even offshore. If you hold your own Bitcoin keys, you should hold your own comms too. Sat123.com also has everything you need to start building your Bitcoin citadel. Starlink, battery backups, Faraday bags to protect your hardware wallets, and much, much more. It's a one-stop shop for anyone serious about resilience and off-grid independence. Stay connected, stay independent, stay sovereign. Go to sat123.com/simply today and use promo code SIMPLY to get 15% off anything on the store.
All right, everybody, we are back. So let's do a quick kind of update on the Bitcoin treasuries. Bitcoin treasuries are a big part of this specific cycle. Michael Saylor in the vanguard of that, really leading the charge from Bitcoin 2021, saying that his company was going to buy Bitcoin, to paying his dues in the 2022 bear market, to him being absolutely vindicated, and just his company, I think percentage return wise, I think it did like a 23x the stock. It was just a ridiculous return. So Michael Saylor vindicated, and then once he was vindicated, you saw a lot of other companies really see, okay, we can follow that Bitcoin treasury strategy as well. It's literally in the name, strategy, right? We can really follow that Bitcoin treasury strategy. And there's been a lot of other companies that have popped up, and they're following in Michael Saylor's footsteps. But it seems like there's been a little bit of a consolidation. And then also as well, what a lot of people are not talking about enough is a lot of these companies, I don't want to name any specific ones, but they've lost like 80 to 90% of their value, which is that's hardcore. That is really hardcore. I don't want to name any specific ones because, again, a lot of these people are my friends.
We love them. We love them.
A lot of these people are my friends, but let's just say if you're a stockholder, you've had it rough a little bit. You've had it rough a little bit. So I just want to go through the top 10. Of course, we have Strategy holding 639,000 Bitcoin. Mara, 52,021. Jack Mallers, SoftBank and Tether's company, 43,500. The Bitcoin Standard Treasury Company, 30,000 Bitcoin. Metaplanet has taken fifth place with 25,555 Bitcoin. Bullish holding 24,300. Riot holding 19,300. President Trump Media and Technology Group holding 15,000. It's so surreal that the president has one of the largest treasury companies. You think Bitcoin ain't gonna pump, bro? Clean Spark 12,700 Bitcoin. Coinbase 11,776. Tesla holding 11,509. And the list goes on. What I do want to focus on is Semler Scientific and Strive have merged, ladies and gentlemen. So Strive has acquired Semler Scientific, and I have the breaking news for you guys. Strive buys Bitcoin hoarder Semler as Treasury wave shows cracks. Strive co-founded by former U.S. presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy, agreed to acquire Semler Scientific in an all-stock deal, marking a new stage of consolidation among Bitcoin accumulators. The transaction values Semler at $90.52 a share, a 210% premium to its Friday closing price of $29 per share. The combined company will hold nearly 11,000 Bitcoin, according to a statement Monday. Digital asset treasury companies have sprung up around the world in recent months as cryptocurrency prices rose. Adopting the balance sheet strategy pioneered by Michael Saylor's strategy, Strive's deal for Semler appears to be among the first between publicly traded crypto hoarders. My prediction is that this is going to happen again. We're going to see more of a consolidation amongst the big treasury companies. It comes a week after Strive turned itself into a Bitcoin proxy. Strive's merger agreement to acquire Semler Scientific just 1 week after becoming a public company shows a level of speed and execution not seen before in the Bitcoin treasury space, said Matt Cole, Strive's chairman and chief executive officer. I believe I had the pleasure of being able to interview him on the floor of Bitcoin 2025. Cracks in the crypto treasury model have started to appear. Shares of firms like Japan's Metaplanet Inc. have slumped as the market became inundated with new accumulators, testing some companies' ability to fund token purchases on attractive terms. Strive's shares dropped as much as 8.1% in early trading in New York on Monday, while Semler's stock jumped as much as 24% before giving up most gains. Billionaire backers. Strive said it has plans for monetizing or separating Selv's diagnostic unit at a later date. The Dallas-based firm, which went public this month via reverse merger with digital marketing company Assets Entities Inc., has described its goal as building a durable Bitcoin war chest. Prior to a Bitcoin hoarding announcement, Strive had become known for its asset management business. It runs a number of ETFs, including the $1 billion Strive 500 ETF ticker, which is focused on the largest U.S. stocks. The company launched in 2022 with backing from billionaire investors, including one of Opti's favorite, Peter Thiel and Bill Ackman, as an antithesis to investment giants such as BlackRock Inc. Ramaswamy resigned as executive chairman in 2023, according to the firm's website. Semler, a medical device maker last year, became one of the first to adopt Bitcoin as its primary treasury reserve asset. And looking for potential use of cash, its board and senior management decided acquiring the digital asset was the best use of its excess cash, the company said at the time. Semler, in August, reported a 43% year-over-year drop in second quarter revenue. Its shares had fallen 46% this year through Friday. The race to emulate Saylor's crypto hoarding method has gathered pace this year, with companies being created at dizzying pace to accumulate Bitcoin and smaller tokens. Many of the new entrants are smaller firms that seemingly rebranded overnight. So lots to unpack here. Great article by Bloomberg, by the way, but lots to unpack here. So first of all, I'm starting to pick up a pattern. Pattern number one is it seems like all the Bitcoin treasury companies, like they were like companies that were like they just weren't doing so hot. They just weren't in the they weren't in the big seven. They weren't in the big seven. Sailor's company, it fits into this category as well. MicroStrategy wasn't doing so hot for like 20 years. He said it on many podcasts. He's like, I tried everything I could to, compete with Microsoft, and I literally couldn't. And it wasn't until I found Bitcoin that I was able to compete, right? So it seems like a lot of these companies that, their stocks have been going sideways essentially for a while. It seems like they're looking at these Bitcoin treasury companies. Excuse me. It looks like they're looking at these Bitcoin treasury company strategies, and they're like, listen, this is a great way to make my stock go up. And it seems like a lot of them have been successful. Now, I think the question on everybody's mind is this a long-term strategy? Is this strategy viable long-term? I think that's the question on everybody's mind. Now, do I think strategy is going to go away? No, I don't think so. They have way too much Bitcoin. The second place doesn't even come close. Second place, I think, has like 52,000, right? So strategy, I think Sailor's going to reach 1 million Bitcoin, by the way. I'm calling it right now. I think he's going to reach 1 million Bitcoin. And I think that with that much Bitcoin, you essentially become like this like de facto Bitcoin bank, right? Like that's what I see happening. But the smaller ones, that's a different conversation altogether. Now, every cycle, there is like this buzz. There is like this thing that outperforms Bitcoin that everyone wants to buy. So in 2017, it was the ICO boom. Everyone remembers that if you were there in that era. There's ICOs launching left and right. Then there was the layer one altcoin boom in 2021. So like Ethereum and Link and all those Doge, they just exploded. And then of course, they went back down. But every cycle, there's this thing that outperforms Bitcoin in the short term. And that's what a lot of investors want to jump on. And what I'm seeing this cycle is I'm seeing that the Bitcoin treasury companies seem like a way for potential investors to outperform Bitcoin. Now, I think the big difference between the ICO boom and the 2021 layer one boom is that at least these companies are actually backed by Bitcoin, right? They aren't vaporware. Like the ICO boom, it was pure vaporware. It was literally vaporware, right? The 2021 boom, like Doge, what is Doge? What is Doge? I mean, I know Elon likes it. I know Tesla accepts it as payment, right? But is it backed by the most decentralized computing network on the face of the planet? And the most decentralized node network on the face of the planet? Does it have, absolute scarcity? Is it completely immutable? Is it censorship resistant? No. So it's like an inferior version of Bitcoin, but I guess it's a funny dog, right? So
it's a cute dog.
It is a cute dog.
Yeah, it's a cute dog.
It's a cute dog. So yeah, I mean, at least the Bitcoin treasury companies are like backed by Bitcoin, right? They're like actually backed by something, right? So I think that makes it different. But anyways, the big breaking news for today is Strive acquires Semler Scientific. And if you add their Bitcoin holdings together, That puts them in the top 20. I think right under Tesla or right under Coinbase in terms of the largest Bitcoin treasury companies. So, shout out to Strive and shout out to Semler Scientific. It seems like it was a win-win deal for all. And let's see if these treasury companies start performing again, because I think a lot of them have been not doing so hot recently. Maybe we could pull up some charts just to kind of show everybody.
Of these stocks. Okay, all right. Yeah, I can do that.
So we can just kind of just show.
Wait. But you didn't want to name them, and now we're just going to show their charts.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, let's not do that. Let's not put anyone on blast. You know who we're talking about.
Let's just say some of these treasury companies haven't done so hot.
Literally none of them are doing hot right now, but I don't think that's long term.
Strategy's holding the line.
It's kind of dumped. It's kind of not a bullish chart, but it is holding up better than the others.
All right, everybody.
Yeah, wait. I want to hit on a few things here. First of all, the Bloomberg article kind of told me something that I didn't know, which was that Vivek Ramaswamy is not a part of Strive anymore. I was still under the impression he is. And maybe the move when he left, I don't know, you guys could fact check this and time this, could be around when he was announcing his run for Ohio, was it governor? Yeah, I think governor. It could be earlier. So maybe that was just kind of some marketing here, but who knows? But shouts out to Matt Cole. He's been doing a great job. I actually really like him. He's a smart dude. My first take on the Strive stuff is, one, they didn't just acquire Semler. They also bought like $750 million of Bitcoin at the same time. So like they're making moves, and you can see that they are not only taking the strategy very seriously, but they are also doing things that strategy isn't doing, that Michael Saylor isn't doing. And I think this goes into the larger trend of what we're seeing, that, Saylor's products are being kind of designed in a specific way to capture zombie markets here, or capital that can't really get into Bitcoin. And it looks like what Strive is doing is maybe like consolidating a lot of these Bitcoin treasury companies. I know their whole game plan was essentially to fund, like their index fund was going to be of treasury Bitcoin companies. It is interesting that they're acquiring Bitcoin treasury companies, and it does make you think that a lot of these companies are probably going to all fall under one umbrella potentially in the near future. The other point, wait, I just blanked on what my other point was. Oh yeah, my next point is, even though this sounds very bullish, this might not be that bullish, in the sense if these Bitcoin treasury companies are already being consolidated. It is kind of going down the like ICO hype cycle here. It's kind of like a pump and dump, but I'm not here to accuse people of that. I'm just saying that's kind of what it feels like in this story. In this story, okay. In this story, okay. But like to the which ones are going to win? Obviously, I think strategy. Like no one's going to catch up to what Saylor did. I don't think at this point anyone can catch up to what Saylor's doing.
It's impossible, bro.
Yeah, it's totally impossible.
He has 650,000 Bitcoin. Number 2 has 50,000, bro.
No way.
It's not going to happen.
No way. So like if you are in the TradFi markets, there's really only one stock to be buying, and it's strategy.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that, but I think I love the Bitcoin treasury companies.
Hey, I love them. I love them. I love all my friends that are doing them.
I think they've done. I think it's great. It's getting exposure to Wall Street. They all have their pros and cons, but clearly, obviously, Saylor's strategy is just, it's just complete. We do. I didn't know we had one.
I am a Bitcoin strategy company.
Anyways. All right, guys, it's going to be a fantastic show. We still got the culture lined up for you guys. Opti's got something special up his sleeve. So we're going to be right back in just a bit.
I want to give a shout out to our partner, HIVE Digital Technology. Why HIVE in 2025? Unstoppable growth. As the first ever public miner, HIVE's position to quadruple their global footprint, making them one of the world's fastest growing miners in 2025. And with elite operations that consistently top the industry in Bitcoin mined per exahash, HIVE's now headquartered in the USA. They're lean and mean, they're green and clean, and they're rewriting the playbook on sustainable Bitcoin mining. You can catch the latest buzz at HIVE Digital Tech or at hivedigitaltech.com. I want to give a shout out to our partner, bitcoinben.io. If you're into freedom, Bitcoin, and building a real community, this is for you. Gain exclusive access to real-world, members-only, private clubs across the globe, featuring poker nights, expert-led classes, co-working spaces, educational meetups, live events, and more. Current locations include Sarasota, Nashville, Boston, Dallas, Las Vegas, and St. Louis, with new clubs launching soon in West Palm Beach, Scottsdale, Alabama, and beyond. Not to mention Bitcoin Ben's resorts in El Salvador. There's 3 of them, and they're absolutely beautiful. You'll also get access to the first fully backed Bitcoin bank with fiat ramps and savings accounts. It's called Private Key Bank, and you guessed it, it's based out of El Salvador. Go peer-to-peer with Bitcoin bulk buys, tap into home equity for long-term Bitcoin growth, and join their exclusive mining pools if you're interested in mining. What are you waiting for? Head over to bitcoinben.io, join today, where Bitcoin meets freedom.
All right, guys. Well, I'm going to end the show on a little bit of bullish stuff here. I'm finally getting bullish here, even though it's not a day to really be that bullish. The price is dumping. But the headlines that we're seeing right now go around the internet are really making the case that Bitcoiners have been making, and it is kind of showing me that what we've said, like I said in the beginning, is becoming kind of the status quo here. That we've literally, I know you guys yell at me because I don't put the memes on here anymore, but we've literally memed this into reality at this point, because we have headlines all around the world coming from a bunch of different people in a bunch of different places, essentially confirming, or rather maybe echoing what we've been saying for a long time, is that Bitcoin will eventually end up the world reserve currency. But they are kind of spinning this in a certain way that is, I guess you could say, less hyperbolic. They're like admitting what we're saying, but they're not going that far. And I think that's an interesting kind of trend we're seeing. The first one here is from Money Week, and it goes, Bitcoin has become the reserve asset of the internet, which is something that we obviously would totally agree with. Currently, where we are right now, Bitcoin is the de facto world reserve currency of the internet. And we've been saying this for a while, like whether you believe in altcoins or you believe in treasury companies, what you can't deny is that everything on the internet has slowly become priced in Bitcoin. And I know there's a lot of like gambling sites and stuff that price things in crypto, etc., but everything is essentially pegged to Bitcoin. And we're starting to see that first step is probably what we've been saying for a while, is that Bitcoin is the internet money for a digitally internet world. The digital money for the digital world, or the internet's money protocol. And you're starting to see that these trends are catching on. And of course, this is just one of many headlines that we're seeing. But again, they are capitulating on the idea of it's no more just a scam. It's no more just a speculative asset. The fact we're seeing headlines saying this is the reserve asset of the internet, the de facto reserve asset of the internet, just shows how far we've come in a very short time. In 1 year, this is where we've gotten to. Now, this next one is pretty interesting because it is a bank. Bank here. So Deutsche Bank goes, you could argue that this is just one of their analysts, but the fact we're seeing these headlines come out of banks here is I could potentially see Bitcoin to become the 21st century gold. And one headline, I could potentially see Bitcoin to become the 21st century digital gold. And let's not forget that gold was also volatile historically, but it's important to keep in mind that Bitcoin is risky. Of course, they're not fully succeeding the point. And in another article, they essentially are speculating that by 2030, central banks will be acquiring Bitcoin, which is obviously the final step here that we always talk about is once a bank starts printing money to buy Bitcoin, it's just completely game over. So we're starting to see that what we've been saying for years, the memes that we've been talking about are starting to catch on, and people are not looking at us like we're crazy. They're like, yeah, this is obviously going to happen at this point. So we've gotten to the point where everyone has pretty much tacitly agreed what we've been saying forever. It's either going to be worth a lot of money, it's going to be worth zero. And now if you're saying it's worth zero, you're kind of laughed out of the room even more than anyone else saying it's going to go to millions of dollars. Now they're like, yeah, actually it probably is going to go to millions of dollars. I should probably get some. But I find it interesting that from every corner of the globe right now, from all the institutions, you're starting to hear something very similar. Is that, wow, this thing could potentially maybe not go so far as say this is the world reserve currency. You guys know my take on this. I've been saying for a minute now, I think we're going to be in a like bimetalist kind of future or present rather, and before we get to a Bitcoin future. And by that, I mean people are going to use dollars and Bitcoin. And once we get to the point that many countries, institutions look at Bitcoin and the dollar in the same way that they looked at gold and silver, I think it's just showing us what is really going on here. And they can't fully say, hey, unfettered use of Bitcoin is good. All they can say is we're not going to really fight this thing. It's already the internet's reserve currency. We'll get to a point where these institutions are essentially saying this is the world reserve currency. But I think the fact that we're seeing banks say that, yeah, I think in 5 years, central banks are going to be acquiring this thing. It's gone a long way since the beginning of the year where it sounded crazy for a president to say we're going to be the Bitcoin superpower of the world. So even though the price has been Nico, up 3K this year, in 9 months, I think the narratives around this are shifting so much that when the price does start moving, I think it's going to happen in a very short time that people just start to adopt this. So it's just going to be a no-brainer. Once people are exposed to this thing enough times, they're just going to adopt it like that, like the snap of fingers here. So, hey, we're seeing the headlines everywhere. It's the world reserve currency. It's the internet's reserve currency. Central banks are going to be acquiring this. And this just shows that where we are right now, I think, is the precipice of a huge, huge run. Because I think the more we feel bad about the price, the more you know that this is going to go up. Because like the market makers out there are doing this, I think, by design, as we showed. They're trying to liquidate traders. They're trying to kind of get a good position for themselves and their friends. And so the point to all of this rant was essentially do not get shaken out. Now is the time to have higher conviction and continue to stack sats, continue to take it into cold storage. But Nico, it's come a long way since you and I have gotten into Bitcoin to hear headlines and see headlines about Bitcoin being the internet's reserve currency, potentially the world reserve currency in 5 years. And people on the corporate press saying $1 million Bitcoins. It's really going by super fast, even though the price isn't falling along so far this year. But I guess we shouldn't be surprised. Bitcoin is the world reserve currency. It's already the de facto internet currency, and it's only a matter of time until it's on everyone's balance sheet here. Like it's becoming very clear that this is the trajectory it's going. The Bitcoin thesis has been right for over a decade, and now everyone's catching on. So, a little bullishness, guys. We are winning the culture. We are winning the culture war right now because now everyone is bending the knee to our memes. It's kind of what we forever, Nico.
We like totally meme this into existence.
1 mil is coded.
We like meme this into existence, man. It's been crazy. It's been a ride. You know, and now that Bitcoin's growing up and, you know, getting ready to go to college, and, you know,
Dude,
it's,
Bitcoin just left mom's house like Opti 11 Eco's house.
Bitcoin's mature now, and you know, it's a mature asset, man. It's, you know, but we memed it there,
Dude,
which
we
is
memed it.
hilarious. And we changed everybody's mind, because like Saylor wasn't on board, Trump wasn't on board, Larry Fink wasn't on board, Ray Dalio wasn't on board, and it was you guys. It was you guys. You guys never lost the faith. You guys never, you guys never stopped believing. You guys hodled to that feeling. So yeah, man. I mean, it's the power of belief, and the power of memes.
Dude, did we manifest the Bitcoin price?
I think we did. I think we did. I think we're gonna manifest this up to like 1 million.
All the wives manifesting. You guys did it.
Anyways, guys, it's been a fantastic.
I'm trolling.
It's been a fantastic Monday show. We love you guys. We appreciate you guys. Before we tune out, I do want to give a shout out to one of our partners, Mining Disrupt. It's going to be the largest Bitcoin mining conference. It is the largest Bitcoin mining conference, and they're expanding to Texas. Hashtag Opti's going back to Texas, November 11th through the 13th. It's a Bitcoin mining expo. It's an AI expo. It's an energy expo. You want to get your tickets quickly before the prices go up, and you can scan the QR code or check the link in the video description, and it will give you a nice discount to Mining Disrupt 2025 in Texas, baby. So we hope to see you guys there. Opti's going to be there. Rustin's going to be there. I'm going to be there. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be fabulous. It's going to be a great time. And I hope to see you guys in Dallas, Texas, November 11th through the 13th at Mining Disrupt 2025 in Texas. All right, everybody, that was our show for September 22nd, 2025. We are a week away, 1 week away from Q4 starting. I think we need a Q4 countdown. We need a Q4 countdown, Opti. That's what we need. We are 9 days away, 8 days. How many days are in September? Let me see. We are 8 days away. We are 8 days away from the start of Q4. Shall we see fireworks? That is the question on everybody's mind. Shall we see fireworks? Or
is the Ponzi over?
Or will Bitcoin continue to chopsolidate? And, you know, will we perpetually be in this state of confusion and despair? Or will we be in a state of celebration? We're going to find out in 8 days, ladies and gentlemen. 8 days till Q4. This is the moment you've all been waiting for. You've been waiting for all these years for this moment. That's right around the curve. So we're going to see someone in the chat. We're going to tank this.
It's so true.
So anyways, guys, we love you all. If you guys enjoyed the show, you know what to do. Smash the like button, consider subscribing, and we'll see you tomorrow for a brand new episode of SB Live.
Today's episode was brought to you by BitcoinWell.com, a Bitcoin-only platform on a mission to enable financial independence.